Futures and options on futures trading involve substantial risk and is not a suitable investment for all types of investors. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. When I use the word I in this video, it refers to what I teach in my charting course or what I author in my twice daily oral and written updates. Prices shown on charts and quote boards are in real time and take into account all known activity up to this point in time. And if you'd like to read more of this disclaimer, simply hit the pause key on your video player. Good day, all. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your financial market wrap-up for this Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, November 21st, 2018, right after 3:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that means the market in 15 minutes from now will reopen, they'll trade, but these will be the settlement prices in the stock indices. I've looked at the metals, you're close to it, but let's talk about the financials. You were up 200 points at one point this morning in the Dow. You're finishing up 25. You're 30 off the high, well, 23 off the high in the S&P. In the Russell, you're about, 14 points away from the high, and well off the high in the NASDAQ, about 70 points. In other words, even though it's an up day, it didn't hold. That's the way that I look at it, which means this market might have some more work to do on the downside. At the same time, you're looking at the energies up on the day, and even with that cold blast coming in to hit the New York area and other parts of the East Coast, we are still looking at a down day in nat gas. You have to ask yourself, knowing that it's going to be that freezing, markets that don't react to bullish news like that after a big run-up, do they need more to correct before they resume their trend? That's one way to look at it. When you look at bonds and notes, yes, they're down, but nothing big. It's a holiday market. If you're looking for more than that, you're not getting it. But as you take a look right now on a weekly area chart of closes, you're down 94 points so far on the S&P. You're back under where the market finished at the end of 2017, and you're thrusting to the downside. When we look at the Fibonacci study from the high to the low, this market's struggling, as you can see, to hold into anything. It had one phenomenal bounce, a classic bounce in all honesty, where you first went into the first box, as I call it, the 38% to this about halfway retracement. Then you got up even further, 62%, and you slipped back all the way down. If you take out these lows, that count's gone, and you have to go in and look at new work. That's okay. This market's still not looking good, and you still have a pattern of lower highs, lower lows. Bearish. You're under the 18-day average of closes. Bearish. You hit the lower Bollinger Band area. I think you just missed it on Friday, the exact low. Let's see, we got down to 26.31, and that number was 26.30. if you round it. So 29.75, and you had a bounce today. Okay, that doesn't convince me that that's just a bounce and that you're not through on the downside. The good news is you're oversold. The bad news is being oversold does not mean you're bottoming in a market. You're just oversold. So I'm going to say the bias is down, the trend is down, you're at a loss for the year at this point in time, still not looking good. When we come to the NASDAQ, you fell down on Tuesday to where you had settled for 2017. We had a bounce today back into the Bollinger Bands, and that's about all that I can say about it. Trend down, bias down, but again, oversold. I wouldn't be surprised if these markets play around these Bollinger Bands or lower come Friday. Just wouldn't surprise me at all. When you take a look at the Dow, lower highs, lower lows, couldn't even get back to unchanged on the futures for the year, so still staying down, oversold. There's a common theme that we're oversold. There's a common theme that area of the lower Bollinger Bands, even here in the Russell, doing its job to try to hold the market. Here too, you're under this gold line, if you will, for the close for 2017. When we come to the VIX, it pulled back, and you shouldn't be surprised. You know what I tell you, when you get up, if you fall back, the 18-day average often acts as a support zone. That's where you're at. You made your run at it today, but you still have this pattern of higher lows, higher highs. The bulls control this market. The momentum waned today. You can see that by the red line just starting to go sideways, but it's a holiday market with extremely light volume. Trying to read more into that could be a problem. In the T-bond market, you are overbought. From the looks of it, both numbers are not going to close over 80, so you're just staying overbought. You've gone for all purposes from the lower Bollinger Band to the upper Bollinger Band, and that might be where the market stalls a bit right here. You know, sooner rather than later, the market's going to start again thinking about the Fed move in December. I don't see anything to take the Fed off their path of raising interest rates for December. I realize people are talking about 2019 and how many. Okay, I'll let them have that talk, but you got to trade what's in front of you today, not what's going to be maybe in March or maybe in June. You don't know that. Here too, you got up to the upper Bollinger Band, you ran it, fell back, and notice how all of a sudden the 100-day average of closes has become the number the market's playing at. But again, you're very overbought in this market. In the ETF TLT, you're overbought in an uptrend. You haven't hit the upper Bollinger Bands, which is a bit of a surprise. If you're down in the stock markets on Friday morning, don't be surprised if this market tries another rally. In the dollar index, the game is being played at the 18-day average of close. It's about 4 sessions now that the market's been there. You are flat in momentum. The trend is down, negated by the fact that the market's going to close over the 18-day average. So when the two fight each other, I contend you have nothing there. When we look at the euro currency, you've got lower highs, lower lows, an outside day down on Tuesday, and the market just played an inside day with it today. A close under the 18-day average would re-trigger, as far as I'm concerned, the downside bias, but I don't think you're going to get that looking at how the market trading. Miss May, I'm talking UK Prime Minister, looks to me like she's going to return back to the UK without any more concessions from the EU. I understand the EU meeting is going to go forward for Sunday, where the members there, the 27 countries, as I understand it, will get together, decide what they're going to do. But I know she went today for concessions on Gibraltar, more trade, frictionless trade that she's looking for. There was one other issue, it slips my mind, and I don't think she got much to do on anything with that. Now she's got to go home, and, you know, who knows where that's going to go. Every day is like a major report trading the pound. In the Japanese yen, the market fell back to neutral territory. I consider the red line, the 18-day average of closes, absolutely neutral on the chart. So when the market's under it, often it'll get up into that zone. It might fight a little battle, try and look for the next trend trade. There is no trend as I define it here. You have a pattern of a lower low and a higher high. You got overbought, you're correcting it, and you're just sitting at that 18-day average of closes. In Bitcoin, you try to rally today, but you're 6 days in a row under the lower Bollinger Band. It's not a pretty number, let me tell you. 5 is what you typically bounce away from. 6 often leads to the 7th, so be careful right there. In the spread of the Brent versus WTI crude, notice how the spread is crashing. In other words, now what's happening is WTI is gaining on the Brent. So instead of the differential being here in the 10.25 area, you're back to 8.89. If you take a look at crude, you bounced, but can you say any more than that? And what I've been telling you every day, that we've been recently doing this. When you get an embedded reading, these rallies are often selling opportunities to the pros. So until that reading, you get a crossover 20 by the red line, I contend you're still very much in the bear camp. Same thing in the WTI, same thing in the Rebob. NatGas, no, you lost your embedded reading here. When that occurs, often, I wish I could use the word always, but it's not an accurate term. Often, price will try to get back to the 18-day average of closes. How does it? Well, that's the big story, but you're seeing the rallies aren't holding right now. But yes, on the other side, for the bulls, you've held on to most of the gain. I mean, there's two stories that are at work here, but if you're asking me the momentum story, I think it's swung temporarily in the bears' favor for a challenge of the 18-day average. With that number climbing over days, this one dropping. We'll have a pretty good indication when we reopen on Friday, obviously, as we get an idea of what energy prices are going to look like and how the market reacts to that cold weather. Who's in control here? Well, if you read about one of these firms that exploded, they got caught short natural gas puts, and I believe that they were wrong on the other side of the, I think they were actually short calls in the nat gas. and they got caught the wrong way in the energies, and a big firm went under. So you get people that they trade those options. They don't understand. Option writing can sometimes be more dangerous than futures contracts. When you take a look at what we do, one of the things that I do is I put out research twice a day. If you're on my mailing list and you're not a subscriber to my research, I've got a deal for you for Black Friday. Take a look in your mailbox. It's there. If you're not on my mailing list, well, I can't tell you about it. It's that simple. I'm Ira Epstein. I wish you all a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate you watching these videos, and I will be here on Friday recording them again for you. Even though we have an abbreviated trading session, you might want to check with your broker and be sure of the evening hours that we're going to trade through the holidays. Have a good day.